You guys are in luck because I went to another marketing event recently and I'm going to share all my insights that I learned throughout. Recently, I just published a video about all those sort of marketing things I learned from another event that was targeted specifically towards creators producing content. But the one I was at recently is targeted towards corporate types trying to produce content to bring people to their business, which has a lot of overlap. But there are some key differences there that I think are really, really interesting. A lot of this knowledge that I got was from Cunningham, who's one of the biggest marketers in the corporate space, to the extent where even he's run like Super Bowl commercials and things, which is kind of funny because so much of his marketing attention is put towards producing content for the internet. He did say that the Super Bowl commercial wasn't the best ROI, because it costs so much and it doesn't actually see that many people. Comparatively, if you can just do social well where it costs so little, but you can get hundreds of millions of impressions just for a matter of a couple of thousands of dollars, either paying for salaries or for content creators to produce materials for your business. The one thing that I would add about the Super Bowl commercial, what it does do is brand legitimization. If you've been on some billboard in Times Square or you've, sponsored the Super Bowl, that is a point that sticks with your brand that you must be legit. But once again, the ROI, the conversion, there's much cheaper ways to achieve the same sort of goal. One of the funniest things I heard Chris say that he used to do when he was building his original business would he'd be notified when someone would leave a negative review on one of his competitors' sites. And then he would go into that review place and tell them exactly why he was going to be able to solve their problems. And what's that? That's free. And you're hitting that exact target market that is frustrated with what currently exists, and you're providing them that exact alternative. And I was like, damn, that's a smart way to do it. Additionally, I've heard it a bunch around, but using fake names to make your business look bigger than it is. Whether you're an independent creator who is receiving a brand deal saying, hey, contact my manager, and really your manager is you just under a different name, or whether it be once again a business with multiple departments and multiple people, and really it's just 3 founders trying to make it look like a more legit enterprise. Yes, is it ethical? Maybe, maybe not. But if you're young and scrappy, you can get away with it, and once again it makes you look more legit, and they're probably going to negotiate a lot better with a manager, let's say if you're a creator, than if it's with you who they can feel they can exploit. You have a phrase that became synonymous with companies like Facebook that was move fast and break things. And that works really, really well for young and scrappy companies. It doesn't work well when Elon tries to acquire Twitter, but it works well if you're on the come up. And what he was able to do was he was like, okay, let's try and release a new feature for our product every single week to keep people excited. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Because the added benefit of that is if you say, hey, if you find a bug within this feature that we released, we'll give you this little benefit. But for one, it's cheaper because you're not having to pay people to find bugs. You're effectively getting your customers to do it. 2, they understand that you're a young and scrappy company, so you release half-baked products that will eventually be baked, but just in the means of keeping things exciting and delivering more value. And you're forcing yourself to continue to innovate. One of the worst things, there was a lot of hate for Adobe for a while because their products kind of got stagnant, but as other competitors started coming up, DaVinci and the AI revolution, they were forced to adapt. They were forced to improve their products and constantly come up with new things. And it is much more of an exciting product to use. So there are so many benefits to just forcing yourself to just put stuff out there no matter what, because you're forced to innovate. Creativity or anything will take as long as the time allowed. If you have a certain parameters, certain box, you have to do something today, something will be made today. But if you have to do something next week or within the year, it will take that entire year. So by having those boundaries, you're just able to put out so much more products, get so much more audience feedback, and you can just produce things that are constantly delivering value to that audience, because maybe half the stuff you bake each week people don't tend to care about, but they'll tell you very quickly what they enjoy, what they don't enjoy, and you'll get so much more information from that than just releasing something once every 6 months and banking your entire business on that. What I love about the internet sometimes is that there are so many niches that go ultra viral that have so much attention that you just don't even know exist in the first place. Because you would think, oh, corporate videos, well, that's not going to be that popular, right? It's not like singing and dancing on TikTok. It's not these funny, humorous cat videos that really pioneered the internet space. And yet Chris, with ClickUp, has been able to produce hundreds of millions of impressions a month. Well, they're trying to consistently get 200 million impressions a month by producing videos like this.
Hey, look, you want to try one of my muffins?
No, Cindy. Tastes like ass. See what I did there? Honesty is always the best policy in the workplace. Carol, nobody cares about your kids. Showing your kids at the workplace is not a good call.
Hands, not touching hands.
And just goes to show you there is a niche for everything. Also, taking a huge note on the fact that LinkedIn went social. Largely before LinkedIn was a platform that you could connect with people that you'd worked with before, network. If you meet someone new, find out who you have in common, maybe learn about whatever it was. It was a very static platform. However, over the past few years, it has very much moved into the TikTok, the Instagram, but for careers. It's effectively the exact same platform, kind of. Instead of posts, it's got text. It's like a mix between Twitter and TikTok, but mainly for business type stuff. And it's great. I love it. I would think that they shouldn't move too hard into video. They should take advantage of the fact that text has been dying on certain platforms. You really use that as an opportunity to double down rather than trying to jump into the mess that is short form video. They can have it, but I think they should try and keep that balance there. Another important thing mentioned, which is absolutely true and the best in the business do it, is if someone wants to look at your product, they will find your comparison page. They will do their research. They'll figure out, are you better than your competitor in certain fields depending on what they want. But what you need to do is just get their attention. Make sure that they know you exist in the first place as an option and build that positive association, that positive representation. Because when they do come to the point where they may need your product or service, they've run into a problem that needs to be resolved, then hopefully you become top of mind, or at least you become on the list that they will look through. Where if you come right out at camera and say, buy my product, this is how we're better than everyone else, they're going to be like, no, go away. But if instead you're like, hey, look, we're really funny, we're providing value to you, and they're like, damn, I need help with this. Oh, those guys were good, maybe I'll check them out now. And then that's how you'll win in the long term, because people will have this built attachment, built association with you, rather than constantly trying to win on the small battles. Because often the iPhone is not the best phone on the market. Androids are way better, but they've built this connection to an audience that doesn't want to use anything else, so people will keep coming back to buy this product, when once again, generally, alternatives are technically better. Additionally, which I've realized when trying to build my own things, is that no one wants to read shit on a brand page. If it's not a person, they don't care. So if you've got a brand page, you need to make sure that you are delivering value, either humorous, educational, make sure you're providing something to the audience, something that is simple, something that is catchy. Because once again, they're not going to sit down and read a page of information from a brand account that they don't care about, they have no attachment to, and it's just boring. So you need to do what you can, if you're running a brand account, to create content that is captivating, that is interesting, that will make them remember you. Where on a personal page, they have that attachment to you because it is human to human. You have a bit more leeway to write out huge blocks of information, especially once again on platforms like LinkedIn. Also, if you're going to build out certain personalities, right, because you may have a business, let's say hypothetically Netflix, right? You could have the Netflix brand account, but then what's also good is to have certain employees within the business build out their personalities. Maybe it's the CMO of Netflix, maybe it's the CEO, maybe it's the CCO, maybe it's the CEO, whatever it is. Each one of these people has an interesting perspective on what they do and the industry as a whole. So someone, maybe let's say me, maybe I'm not interested in the Netflix brand account and what it's putting out, but I'm in marketing, so I'm interested in what the CMO is doing, what their perspectives on the space are. So by having these personalities around, for one, you reinforce that human connection that's harder to get through a brand account, but also you are targeting specific career points that now get attached to your business. So whether that once again is a customer that you can sell to, maybe it's a potential future employee that works for your business, or a million other possible combinations that benefit from once again building that positive association and the overarching brand of not just your business, but the people who work there. Additionally, especially for the brand account, but can also be just for the behind the scenes tasks, if you don't know content and if you haven't done it before, don't try and do it all yourself, especially in the beginning, because it's just too difficult. I mean, sometimes you can if you really want to, if you're trying to do stuff in-house, great. But oftentimes it is cheaper just to outsource it to an in-house or external content creator. You can pay them a couple $1,000s to produce like 10, 20 videos, which can have a couple of different variations. You can put that out, see how it works, and see what does indeed work that you should double down on. But if you try and figure out everything yourself from the beginning, things will just take way too long. It'll be way too difficult. Unless, once again, you have someone in-house who can do this for you. And if you're an individual, you're not the brand account, maybe you can film the stuff yourself, but then you send it off to someone who can edit it or whatever. Unless you're really producing short form style content or short LinkedIn posts that require just filming on an iPhone or writing up a little paragraph. So depending on your circumstance, it may be cheaper and quicker to outsource or just keep it really simple and do it yourself. Also, the fact that when you look at a lot of strategies of like how to make stuff go viral, big point there is about timing, that you should post stuff at a certain time of day. But the earth is 24 hours. When you're sleeping, someone else is awake. So unless it has to be at a certain time, it really doesn't matter. And more of a personal note from what I observed from the evening was there was a lot of people who were hearing this information, who are taking it on and really wanting to make a change, really wanting to implement some of this knowledge that they have garnered. But there's too much analysis paralysis. They're too worried about how they should do things. Should things be perfect? The reason I'm looking out the window right now is there is an adorable cat. I got my priorities set. Look at this. Oh, kitty. Can you see it? Can you see it? Is it still there? Oh, right in the distance. Adorable. And people try and overthink that starting point of like, I don't know how to produce content, I don't know what to do. When really, it should just be a matter of, I've got an idea, let's just start recording stuff. Because your first stuff will be terrible. But the good thing is with algorithms is if it's terrible, no one will see it. But you will get better. But you have to start somewhere. So just if you have an idea, if you have a thought, if you have a perspective, put it out there, put it out into the world, write a little paragraph, film a little short video, make it as easy as possible to go from your brain to the camera, to the computer, to the world. Or it's even easier on the phone. It's all done in one. Yes, you can worry about all the exact marketing strategies later, like the ones I mentioned, but at the beginning, you just need to start putting stuff out there. And once that becomes easy, then you can worry about all the fine tuning. If you've got any other advice that you think aligns with some of the stuff I was saying, I would love to hear it down in the comments. And I shall see you in the next one.